Listen carefully. What I'm about to share with you isn't theory, it's not speculation. It's a wealth opportunity that's unfolding right now, in real time, while most people are still asking themselves whether AI is a threat or a tool. The answer, by the way, is neither. AI is a market inefficiency. And inefficiencies like this, where demand massively exceeds supply, where value perception is 10 times higher than delivery cost, where barriers to entry are laughably low, these inefficiencies don't last forever. They get arbitraged away by people who move fast, people who recognize the pattern, people, perhaps, like you. The business model I'm revealing today is called the AI Concierge. It's simple, elegant, ruthlessly profitable when executed correctly. Here's the core thesis. Busy professionals understand that AI and automation can save them hours every single day, but they lack the expertise, the bandwidth, or frankly, the patience to configure these systems themselves. You, yes, you, step into that gap. You sell them implemented solutions, not software, not consulting, not training. You sell them outcomes, configured, tested, deployed automation systems that start saving them time within 24 hours. You charge premium fees, $300, $500, $800 per setup, and you deliver in as little as 30 minutes to 3 hours, depending on complexity. Now, before we go deeper, I need you to do something. This is a brand new channel, and we're trying to build a community of serious wealth builders. We need 100 subscribers. If you're the kind of person who recognizes a real opportunity when you see it, hit that subscribe button right now. Don't wait. Don't think you'll do it later. And here's what I want: 50 likes on this video. 50 people who are serious enough about their financial future to signal that they're paying attention. And finally, drop a comment. Tell me where you're watching from. I want to know where in the world this message is reaching. Are you in New York, Singapore, Lagos, Dubai, London? Drop it in the comments. Let me know. This isn't just a channel. This is a movement of people who understand that wealth isn't built by accident. It's built by execution. So, subscribe, like, comment. Let's build this together. Now, back to the AI Concierge model. Why does this work? Because of a fundamental economic principle that the ultra-wealthy have understood for decades, but that's finally becoming accessible to everyone. Time arbitrage. Let me paint you a picture. A real estate agent closes deals worth $10,000 each. Her time is worth approximately $300 per hour when she's actually working with clients. Now, this professional spends 5 hours every single week manually following up with leads, entering data into her CRM, scheduling property showings, sending reminder emails. 5 hours. That's $1,500 of opportunity cost every single week. $78,000 per year in lost productivity. And here's the kicker. She knows this. She's painfully aware that she's hemorrhaging value doing administrative work that a machine could handle. But she doesn't know how to set up Zapier. She doesn't have time to learn make.com. She's heard about ChatGPT, but doesn't understand how to integrate it into her actual workflow. This is where you come in. You charge her $500. You spend 90 minutes building her a lead qualification system that captures form submissions, uses ChatGPT to ask qualifying questions, scores leads based on their answers, and automatically routes hot prospects to her calendar with a booking link. 90 minutes of your time, $500 in your pocket, $1,500 back in her pocket every single week moving forward. She pays back your fee in the first 3 days and saves $77,500 in year 1. That's not a sale. That's a public service wrapped in a business model. Now you might be thinking, William, this sounds too simple. If it's this straightforward, why isn't everyone doing it? Great question, and the answer reveals something crucial about human psychology and market timing. Most people who learn automation tools think in terms of what they can do for themselves. They automate their own email. They build workflows for their own business. They think small. The professionals who could be your clients, they're overwhelmed. They see 100 different automation tools, and every single one requires hours of learning just to understand the interface. By the time they'd be competent enough to build their own workflow, they've lost weeks of productivity. And here's the brutal truth. A professional billing $300 per hour does not want to become a Zapier expert. They don't want to master Make. They don't want to understand webhook protocols and API documentation. They want to describe their problem once and have it solved forever. That gap between what they want and what they're capable of doing themselves, that gap is your market. And right now, that market is massive. Let's talk about the numbers, because numbers don't lie. The global automation as a service market was valued at over $2 billion in 2024. By 2034, it's projected to hit more than $13 billion. That's a compound annual growth rate exceeding 20%. In sales specifically, AI adoption jumped from 24% in 2023 to 43% in 2024. Why? Because generative AI tools finally became good enough to handle real business functions: email composition, lead analysis, customer interaction, without constant human oversight. Businesses that have automated at least one process now represent 66% of the market, and that number is expected to hit 85% by 2029. What does this mean for you? It means the market is validated. It means businesses know they need automation. But the professional services automation market, the specific niche where you'd operate, is only valued at around $15 billion globally in 2025. That means it's still fragmented. There's no dominant player. There's no monopoly. There's just thousands of small businesses drowning in administrative work and desperate for someone to come save them. That someone should be you. Now let me introduce you to someone who's already validated this exact principle at scale: Alex Hormozi. If you don't know who Alex Hormozi is, let me bring you up to speed. He's the founder of Acquisition.com. He scaled multiple companies past $100 million in combined revenue. His framework for business growth is mathematical, systematic, and ruthlessly effective. And here's what Hormozi has figured out about automation. You don't sell technology. You sell business functions. When Hormozi talks about AI, he describes it as a multiplier, not magic. His teams use AI to generate training videos with AI avatars, cutting down content production by hundreds of hours. They deploy personalized video systems for sales outreach. One template gets customized automatically for every prospect with their name, their company, their specific pain points. What used to take his salespeople hours, recording individual videos for every single lead, now takes minutes. His recruitment team uses AI to write personalized outreach messages to passive candidates. His operations team uses AI scheduling tools that save 40% of wasted time from back-and-forth calendar coordination. But here's the crucial insight. Hormozi doesn't build these systems himself. He hires specialists. He employs automation architects. Why? Because his time is worth more than learning the tools. He'd rather pay someone $500 to deploy a solution than spend 5 hours figuring it out himself and lose $2,500 in opportunity cost. That's the mindset of every successful entrepreneur. And that mindset is your customer base. Let me give you another example. Tim Ferriss, the author of The 4-Hour Workweek, the man who built an entire empire teaching people how to escape the 9-to-5 and design their ideal lifestyle. Ferriss has a framework that every single person in the automation business should memorize. It's simple. 3 steps. Eliminate first, automate second, delegate third. Now here's the quote, and this is directly from Ferriss. He says, "Never automate something that can be eliminated, and never delegate something that can be automated or streamlined." Let that sink in. Most businesses are automating the wrong things. They're building complex workflows for processes that shouldn't exist in the first place. A concierge service, your service, solves this by combining diagnosis with implementation. You don't just build what they ask for. You analyze their workflow, identify what can be eliminated entirely, then automate what's left, then help them delegate what can't be automated. That's the value stack. That's why they pay you premium prices, because you're not a technician. You're a strategic implementer. You're saving them from their own inefficiency. And here's where it gets even better. Gary Vaynerchuk, Gary V., the serial entrepreneur, investor, chairman of VaynerX, CEO of VaynerMedia. The man who was an early investor in Facebook, Twitter, and Uber. Vaynerchuk has been explicit about his approach to AI. He uses ChatGPT not to replace human creativity, but to handle execution. He describes it as his strategy thinker. He feeds it prompts, it generates content, His team refines and deploys. He's told his employees at VaynerX that they need to integrate AI into everything they do. He said, and I'm paraphrasing here, "I want you to AI the hell out of your work. Not because you need to work more hours, work less if you want, but when you're working, use AI to multiply your output." VaynerMedia, his agency, employs entire teams dedicated to workflow optimization and automation. Why? Because Vaynerchuk understands something fundamental. Automation isn't a luxury, it's a competitive advantage. The businesses that automate faster grow faster, and the businesses that grow faster dominate their markets. When someone like Gary Vee, someone worth hundreds of millions, invests in automation infrastructure, what does that tell you about where the market is heading? It tells you that professionals with money are willing to pay for implemented solutions. They don't want to become AI experts, they want outcomes, and you're the person who delivers those outcomes. Now let's talk about an even bigger name, Elon Musk. Love him or hate him, the man has a framework for optimization that's been battle-tested at both Tesla and SpaceX. He calls it the algorithm. It's a 5-step process, and he's drilled it into his teams so relentlessly that his executives reportedly mouth the words along with him during meetings like a mantra. Here's the algorithm. Step 1. Question every requirement. Don't assume anything is necessary just because it's always been done that way. Step 2. Delete the part or process. If you can't eliminate at least 10% of what you're currently doing, you haven't cut enough. Step 3. Simplify and optimize what remains, but only after deletion, because optimizing something that shouldn't exist is wasted effort. Step 4. Accelerate cycle time. Make it faster, but only after the first 3 steps, because speeding up a bad process just gets you to failure faster. Step 5. Automate. This comes last. Musk made the mistake early at Tesla of trying to automate everything first. He's admitted publicly that he wasted enormous amounts of time automating processes that he later realized should have been deleted entirely. So automate only after you've questioned, deleted, simplified, and accelerated. Now here's why this matters to you. When you're selling concierge automation services, you're not just a button pusher. You're applying Musk's algorithm on behalf of your clients. You question their requirements. You identify what can be deleted. You simplify their workflow. You optimize what remains. And only then, after all that strategic work, do you automate. That's why you can charge premium prices. You're not selling technology. You're selling strategic execution based on principles that billionaires use to run companies worth hundreds of billions of dollars. Now let's get tactical. Who are your ideal clients? Where's the money? Let me break down the target niches and explain exactly why they work. First, real estate agents and brokers. Why? Because they operate in an industry where time literally equals money. Every hour spent on administrative work is an hour not spent showing properties or closing deals. Realtors are buried under follow-up emails, scheduling requests, lead qualification, contract paperwork. And here's the beautiful part. They make money per transaction. One additional closed deal per month because they reclaim 10 hours of administrative time. That's $5,000 to $10,000 in additional commission. Your $500 setup fee pays for itself in a single transaction. These are clients who understand ROI instantly. Second, personal trainers and fitness coaches. This niche is perfect because their business model is pattern-heavy. Weekly client check-ins, progress tracking, workout scheduling, nutrition reminders, payment collection. All of this can be automated. A coach charging $200 per month per client might have 20 clients, $4,000 per month revenue. If an automation system saves them enough time to add just 3 more clients, that's an extra $600 per month in recurring revenue. Your setup fee? Recouped in less than a month. And here's the kicker. Trainers are visually oriented. They love seeing systems work. Build them a Notion dashboard that auto-populates with client data from their intake forms, and they'll think you're a wizard. Third, accountants and tax professionals. Tax season creates predictable spikes in administrative chaos, document requests, deadline reminders, progress updates to clients, status tracking. An automation system that pulls client documents from email into a Notion database, categorizes them automatically, creates a prioritized task list, and sends automated status updates. That eliminates 80% of manual data entry. Every hour saved is an hour that can be spent on high-value tax planning work that bills at $300 per hour or more. Accountants understand leverage. They understand the value of their time. They will pay you gladly. Fourth, e-commerce store owners. This is a different opportunity. Most Shopify store owners are drowning in operational tasks. Order confirmations, abandoned cart recovery sequences, inventory syncing across multiple sales channels, customer follow-up, review requests. A store doing $10,000 per month in revenue might be spending 30+ hours per week on operational busywork. An automation stack that reduces this to 5 hours per week creates 25 hours of reclaimed time. That's time that can be invested in marketing, product development, strategic planning. For an e-commerce owner, 25 hours per week is the difference between stagnation and explosive growth. Fifth, consultants and service providers. This is perhaps the highest value niche because their core business is already high ticket. A management consultant billing at $300 per hour has extreme sensitivity to time waste. If your proposal automation system saves them 8 hours per month on proposal writing, you've reclaimed $2,400 in billable capacity monthly. Your $600 setup fee is paid back in 15 days. These clients don't hesitate. They understand value immediately. So now you're thinking, okay, William, I see the market. I see the opportunity. But how do I price this? What's the actual revenue model? Let me break down the pricing architecture, and I'll explain exactly why these numbers work. For simple automations, lead capture forms, email sequences, basic CRM integration, you charge $300 to $500. These take you 30 minutes to 2 hours to build once you have templates. For moderate complexity, multi-step workflows, conditional logic, API integrations between 3 or more platforms, you charge $500 to $800. These take 2 to 3 hours. For high complexity, custom integrations, advanced ChatGPT prompts, multi-platform synchronization, you charge $800 to $1,500. These might take 3 to 5 hours. Now here's the critical insight. You're not charging for hours. You're charging for value. That realtor isn't paying you $500 for 90 minutes of work. She's paying you $500 for $78,000 in reclaimed annual productivity. That framing, that value-based pricing conversation, is why this model works. Clients don't compare you to hourly consultants. They compare you to the cost of hiring an assistant at $3,000 to $5,000 per month, or to lost productivity measured in their own hourly rate, or to the status quo of doing everything manually. Against those comparisons, your $500 looks like a steal. But here's where it gets even better. The setup fee is just your entry point. The real business, the recurring, predictable, scalable revenue comes from monthly maintenance retainers. Here's how it works. You build a lead qualification system for a client. They pay you $400 up front. 3 weeks later, they realize the system is working beautifully. It's catching leads their manual process missed. It's saving them hours every week. Now they want to expand. They want phone number validation added. They want to track which questions correlate with closed deals. They want additional lead sources integrated. They want the system to flag ultra-hot leads for immediate personal follow-up. So they ask you, do you offer ongoing support? And this is your moment. You introduce the $200 to $400 per month maintenance and optimization retainer. At this tier, you dedicate 2 to 3 hours per month monitoring their metrics, suggesting improvements, building incremental features. And here's the magic. With just 10 to 15 clients on retainer, you're generating $2,000 to $6,000 per month in pure recurring revenue that requires minimal ongoing effort. That's the model Alex Hormozi has perfected. Build solutions, then create a continuity layer that keeps clients paying indefinitely while your involvement decreases over time. Let me give you real numbers. Conservative scenario, part-time effort. You close 5 client setups per month at $400 average. That's $2,000. You maintain 4 clients on a $250 per month retainer. That's $1,000. Total, $3,000 per month. You're working 60 to 80 hours total that month. Effective gross rate, $37 to $50 per hour before any overhead. Aggressive scenario, full-time, specialized. You close 15 client setups per month. At $600 average, that's $9,000. You maintain 20 clients on a $300 per month retainer. That's $6,000 total, $15,000 per month. You're working 120 to 150 hours that month. Effective gross rate, $100 to $125 per hour. Mature scenario, systematized and leveraged. You close 20 to 30 client setups monthly, using templates at $500 to $800. That's $10,000 to $24,000. You maintain 40 to 50 clients on retainer at $300 per month. That's $12,000 to $15,000. Total, $22,000 to $39,000 per month. You're working 100 to 150 hours per month. Effective gross rate, $220 to $390 per hour gross. And at this level, you have the option to hire junior team members to deliver the services while you focus on sales and systems. Now let's talk about the delivery model, because speed is your competitive advantage. Clients aren't just buying automation, they're buying immediate relief from pain. The faster you can deliver, the more valuable you become. Here's what fast delivery looks like in practice. Lead qualification flow. A prospect fills out a form on their website. Your automation captures the data, uses ChatGPT to ask 3 qualifying questions via email, scores their responses, and routes hot leads directly into the client's CRM with a flag that says high priority, build time 45 minutes. You test it with sample data, confirm it works, provide one-page documentation, you're done. Cost to you maybe $30 in ChatGPT API tokens. Value to client. Eliminates 3 to 5 hours of manual lead screening per week. That's 12 to 20 hours per month. At their billing rate of $200 to $500 per hour, you've delivered $2,000 to $10,000 in monthly value for a $400 one-time fee. That's a 25-to-1 ROI in month 1 alone. Calendar booking system. You integrate Calendly with email automation. Prospects book appointments, receive instant confirmations, get automated reminders 24 hours before, and receive follow-up emails if they don't show. You add a Zapier workflow that logs every booking to a Google Sheet for analytics. Build time, under 1 hour. The client goes from manually sending calendar invites and reminder emails to having a completely hands-off booking infrastructure. Time saved, 5 to 10 hours per month. Value delivered, $1,000 to $5,000 monthly, depending on their hourly rate. Content repurposing workflow. Your client records a single YouTube video. Your automation extracts the transcript using Whisper AI, sends it to ChatGPT with specific prompts, and generates 5 LinkedIn posts, 10 Twitter threads, 3 email newsletter sections, and 2 blog post outlines. Build time, 90 minutes. The client goes from creating 1 piece of content to creating 15 pieces of content from the same source material. They've just multiplied their marketing output by 15x. The value? Incalculable. They're now omnipresent across platforms with the same effort they were previously putting into one platform. Now I want to address something crucial. If you're serious about this, and I mean really serious, pause the video right now and hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. We're building something here, a community of people who don't just consume content, they execute on it. I want to hear from you. Drop a comment. What's your biggest challenge right now? Is it finding clients? Is it learning the tools? Is it pricing your services? Tell me. I read every comment. I want to know where you are in your journey because we're going to build this thing together. And smash that like button. Let's get to 50 likes on this video. If this content is valuable, if you're learning something that could actually change your financial trajectory, show me. Like the video. It helps me reach more people who need to hear this message. Now let's talk about competitive advantage. Because there are other people offering automation services, so why would a client choose you over someone else? The answer comes down to 2 things: specialization and value communication. Most people who learn automation tools market themselves as generalists. I build automations. That's commodity positioning. You'll compete on price. You'll lose. Instead, you specialize. I automate real estate operations. I eliminate admin work for personal trainers. I build lead generation systems for consultants. This specificity changes everything. A realtor sees your website, sees case studies of 3 other realtors saving 10+ hours weekly, sees screenshots of the exact workflows you built, and thinks, this person gets my world. They understand my pain. They've solved this before, they'll solve it for me. That's not a sales conversation, that's a relief conversation. The realtor isn't wondering if you can help. They're wondering how fast you can start. The second competitive advantage is value communication. Never talk about technology with clients. Don't say, I'll set up a Zapier workflow. Say, I'll eliminate your manual lead entry, which currently costs you 5 hours per week. And every lead will automatically appear in your CRM with quality scores. Don't say, I'll integrate ChatGPT with your email. Say, I'll give you an AI assistant that writes personalized follow-up emails based on each client's specific situation, saving you 2 hours per day. You're reframing from cost to value, from technology to outcomes, from complexity to simplicity. And that reframing is what allows you to charge $400, $600, $800 while competitors charging $150 are struggling to get clients. There's also a hidden advantage that most people miss: information arbitrage. Every client you work with teaches you patterns. You build a lead qualification system for one realtor and discover that asking about property type first has 30% higher completion rates than asking about budget first. That insight is gold. Your next realtor client gets a better system from day one because you've already tested what works. Over time, you're building proprietary templates that are niche-specific and battle-tested. Your third realtor setup takes 45 minutes instead of 3 hours because you're remixing proven components. You're getting faster. Your margins are improving. Your quality is increasing. This compounds. By client number 20 in a specific niche, you're operating at a level of speed and precision that new entrants can't match. That's your moat. And here's an upsell most people never think about: automation optimization reports. After you've worked with 20, 30, 50 clients in a niche, you have data. You know which workflows generate the best results. You know which questions get the highest response rates. You know which follow-up sequences lead to the most bookings. Now you can offer quarterly optimization reports. Based on data from 47 other real estate professionals, here are 3 changes to your lead qualification system that could improve conversion by 15 to 20%. The client pays you $200 for the report. You spend 30 minutes generating it because you already have the data. And it positions you as an industry expert, not just a service provider. Let me give you realistic financial projections, month 1 through 3. You're learning tools, building templates, getting your first 3 to 5 clients through your network. Revenue, $1,000 to $3,000 per month. Not life-changing yet, but you're building the foundation. Month 4 through 6. You've specialized in one niche, you've got case studies, you're getting referrals. Revenue, $4,000 to $8,000 per month. This is where it becomes a real side income, or even replaces a part-time job. Month 7 through 12. You've got 20 to 30 clients, half are on retainers. You're systematized. Revenue, $10,000 to $18,000 per month. This is full-time income territory. Year 2, you've got 50+ clients, 40 on retainers. You're considering hiring help. Revenue, $20,000 to $40,000 per month. This is wealth-building territory. You're now extracting more value per hour than most doctors, lawyers, and executives. But here's what separates this from traditional consulting: leverage. A consultant has to show up for every client hour. You build once, deploy 50 times. Your third lead qualification system takes 1/10 the time of your first, but generates the same revenue. That's leverage. That's how you go from billing your time to extracting value from systemized intellectual property. Now I want to talk about something that doesn't get discussed enough: why this works better than traditional consulting. Traditional consulting requires custom analysis for every client. High-touch, low-leverage work. The done-for-you automation model flips this. You design solutions once through your first 3 to 5 implementations, then you execute that same solution 50 times. Your leverage increases with each client in the vertical. The client gets better outcomes because you're not designing from scratch. You're deploying battle-tested systems. You get better margins because you're reusing work. The market gets more efficiency because automation actually gets implemented instead of sitting on someone's someday list forever. This is the model Alex Hormozi has perfected at scale. Build it once, sell it hundreds of times, then build the next thing. There's also a psychological element that makes this model powerful, and it's something most service providers overlook. Professionals fear automation not because it's complicated. They fear the implementation risk. What if something breaks? What if I configure it wrong and lose data? What if it's harder to use than doing things manually? What if I invest all this time and it doesn't work? By offering done-for-you setup with training and ongoing monitoring, you eliminate this fear completely. The professional gets all the upside, time saved, revenue increased, with none of the downside risk. You're the insurance policy, you're the safety net. This is why premium pricing works. You're not selling hours of labor. You're selling peace of mind, professional implementation, and ongoing support. The hook works because it's true. After your implementation, the system runs autonomously for weeks or months with zero client input. When something needs adjustment, you handle it as part of the maintenance retainer. From the client's perspective, they've paid once to eliminate a problem permanently. That's priceless. Let me share with you why this market is exploding right now. 3 trends are converging. First, AI tools are finally powerful enough to deliver real business value. ChatGPT can write emails that sound human. Make and Zapier can integrate virtually any platform. Voice AI can handle phone calls convincingly. The technology has crossed the threshold from interesting experiment to genuine business tool. Second, professionals are more overwhelmed than ever before. The volume of administrative work hasn't decreased, it's increased. More email, more meetings, more platforms, more communication channels. The cognitive load is crushing. Third, the cost of doing nothing exceeds the cost of automation. A professional losing $78,000 per year in productivity due to manual work doesn't need to be convinced that automation is valuable. They need to be shown a path to implementation that doesn't require them to become technical experts. This convergence creates what economists call a market inefficiency: massive demand, undersupplied market, high value perception, low delivery cost. When these conditions exist, fortunes are made by people who move fast. The wealthy already know this. Gary Vaynerchuk, Tim Ferriss, Alex Hormozi, they've all publicly validated through their actions that they'd rather pay specialists to automate than spend time learning tools themselves. The professional market for these services is just beginning its growth curve. 5 years from now, every consultant, realtor, coach, and small business owner will have automation infrastructure. The question is, will you be the person they paid to build it? Here's what I want you to understand at a deeper level. This isn't about technology, it's about recognizing a pattern. Throughout history, whenever there's a gap between what people know they need and what they're capable of doing themselves, service businesses emerged to fill that gap. In the 1990s, businesses knew they needed websites but didn't know how to code. Web designers made fortunes. In the 2000s, businesses knew they needed SEO but didn't understand algorithms. SEO agencies made fortunes. In the 2010s, businesses knew they needed social media but didn't have time to post consistently. Social media managers made fortunes. We're now in the 2020s. Businesses know they need AI and automation, but they don't know how to implement it. This is your window, this is your pattern, and patterns like this don't stay open forever. They close when supply catches up to demand, when the tools become so simple that anyone can use them, when the market commoditizes. We're not there yet, we're in the early phase, the inefficiency phase, the opportunity phase. I told you at the beginning that this was about market inefficiency. Let me make this concrete. The automation as a service market is growing at over 20% annually. Professional services automation is growing at over 11% annually. AI adoption in sales jumped 19 percentage points in a single year. These aren't incremental shifts. These are exponential adoption curves. And here's what history teaches us. When adoption curves go exponential, the people who position themselves as expert implementers, not just users, but implementers for others, Those people capture disproportionate value. You don't need to invent the technology. You don't need to be a software engineer. You need to be the bridge, the translator, the implementer. You need to take tools that exist and deploy them for people who don't have time to learn them. That's the role, that's the opportunity. Let me close with this. I've shown you the model. I've shown you the market. I've shown you the pricing. I've shown you the niches. I've shown you the competitive advantages. I've shown you the psychological hooks. I've shown you why the ultra-wealthy validate this approach through their own behavior. But none of this matters if you don't execute. Information without execution is entertainment. You've been entertained. Now it's time to execute. Here's what I want you to do right now. First, if you haven't subscribed yet, do it. We need 100 subscribers. Be one of them. Second, like this video. Let's hit 50 likes. Show me you're serious. Third, comment below. Tell me which niche you're going to target. Realtors, coaches, consultants, e-commerce? Tell me. Commit publicly. There's power in public commitment. It makes it real. And here's what I'll tell you. The people who build wealth aren't the smartest people. They're not the most educated people. They're not even the hardest working people. They're the people who see opportunities early and move decisively. This is an early opportunity. The automation concierge market is undersupplied, over-demanded, and highly profitable for people who execute correctly. The professionals who need your services already exist. They're already in pain. They're already losing time and money. You're not creating demand, you're capturing existing demand that currently has nowhere to go. That's the best kind of business. So the question isn't whether this works. The question is whether you'll be the person who makes it work. Will you spend the next 90 days learning Make or Zapier, building templates, closing your first 3 clients, and launching a business that could generate $10,000 to $40,000 per month within 12 months? Or will you watch this video, think it sounds interesting, do nothing, and 12 months from now wish you'd started today? The difference between those two paths is execution. Choose wisely. I'm William Vanderbilt. This is Premium Wealth Insights. We don't just talk about wealth, we show you how to build it. Subscribe, like, comment. And I'll see you in the next one where we'll dive even deeper into the strategies the wealthy use that nobody talks about. Until then, execute relentlessly.